So, you know that thing this morning where we went and we talked in person for like 3.5 hours?
Behind the pancakes.
Yes. You remember that?
Yeah,
I really needed that.
you did.
As I was leaving your house, I was like, God damn, it's been too long since we did that. And I don't
Right.
we talk every week mostly on here. I don't
Yeah.
know exactly. I think some of it is the in person, some of it is the subconscious anxiety of everything we say here I know is going on the internet.
Yeah.
Not that we particularly talk to, but there's also a momentum thing. Like you and I only get so deep into our shit in 1 hour. I think which is seems silly, but like you and I really get a momentum and
Yeah.
yeah, it's been I think I'm gonna have to be a little more assertive in trying to make that happen, especially since so many things get in the way that like we should be proactively trying to schedule it like every couple of weeks because we know we won't actually manage that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Like setting your alarm for a lot earlier than you actually get up because you know how many times you're going to press snooze.
exactly. Yeah, so y'all missed out on that. If any of you would subscribe for our premium service of $1,000 a month, you'd get the
Oh my
special behind the
gosh.
scenes pancakes. We are not recording any of that, but if you pay us that much money, we will definitely.
Then we'd have to meet
Um,
again. Because you know how I am. I'm probably far less forthcoming in this medium or an recorded medium than you are. So like I get probably more out of our in-person meetings than you do because I get to actually just talk without worrying about how it's going to sound to the listeners.
Probably, but for $1,000 a month, I don't give a shit. I will type you up a script if I have to for that much kind of money.
Sure.
Um,
It's funny.
so the Dropout streaming service,
Oh, Dropout. That's a streaming service,
former
you're saying.
yes, formerly College Humor. It's where all of my favorite things are.
Okay, sure.
Dropout, yes. They have a show on there called Game Changer. That's a game show, and every episode the rules are different. The game is different, and part of the game is figuring out what the rules are. And they get really weird and creative and all that. And one time, a long time back, they did an episode where it appeared that the premise was various things that might make you cry and you had to stop from crying in order to earn points. So like the first thing was like chopping onions, but then there were like emotional things of like seeing certain videos or whatever. But it quickly sort of figured out that something weird was going on, and what it turned out was the whole thing was actually just an excuse for one of the contestants to have all these people express how much she means to them and all this stuff because she'd had a real hard year, and so it was like, they wanted to show her how important she is and all this stuff. And in fact, her fiance was there, and they got Bob the drag queen from Drag Race, because she's a big Drag Race fan, to officiate a wedding service for them right there on the show, and it was very cute. um a very recent episode of Game Changer now, which is years later, uh, was essentially Who Wants to Be a Millionaire with four contestants. But you eventually figured out that it was actually set up to just be one guy, Jacob Wysocki, and that he couldn't lose because they were mostly questions that were very easy and mostly about him. But even a couple of them that he got wrong, they would do some weird thing and then like let him guess again or whatever, so very quickly. And so it ended with him legitimately getting $100,000. And in fact, that was enough money. They weren't willing to budget it. So they actually were sponsored by LinkedIn in the most hilarious ways. They just kept sneaking LinkedIn into bits of it. And it was pretty funny. But I'm just like, I have plenty of money. I'm fine. I'm doing great. $100,000, even to me, is life changing. That's
Yeah.
it. That's an insane amount. So I'm like, I don't. I mean, it's so cool, and I'm so happy for. I love Jacob, and I know he has struggled, and part of the things is this is what he wants to do. He wants to go out and make people laugh, and that's not necessarily something that is conducive to making a lot of money. And he lives in LA, which is insanely expensive and all this kind of stuff. And he has said he has been very open on various shows that Dropout has made it so he can live. Like Sam Reich, the CEO of Dropout, because of his employment there, which is all contract work or whatever, but they pay very well and they're very big on respecting people's time and everything. Dropout is the business model right now. Dropout is the one where he pays properly for everything and profits are largely put back into the company, and it's great. Like it is how the entertainment business should work. And Jacob's been very open about how like this, he can pay his rent with consistency and all that because of Dropout. And to give him $100,000, I was just like, wow, that's weird. I mean, cool, but weird.
Yeah, that's cool.
But it also is that thing. I'm like, so other people who are struggling are still struggling because they aren't friends with the CEO of this streaming service, which
yeah,
it's always the like this is the problem of what you might call cronyism, of like sometimes it is who you know, and sometimes that's fine because there shouldn't be anything wrong with a friend helping a friend. And if you're rich, you can help out your friend in different ways. But on the other hand, it's like, so it's just who you know, like that's, but I don't know. We have no emails. I have very little to talk about. I didn't save anything behind the pancakes to talk about here, so I'm just coming up with this is a lot of just whatever thought is in my head. So with that, hello everybody. Welcome to Magical Talking Hat Podcast, the only podcast in the world that's basically just me and William going for breakfast, except we're not going for breakfast. So yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying it, but it's not for you, except if you want it to be. I'm Tony.
And I'm William, and this is episode 752.
We have gone long enough without an email that I'm like, people are busy, it's the summer or whatever, or literally everyone's just stopped listening. I know my brother listened recently because he called me and he told me he listened, but our usual saviors, Stu, Craig, Beth, where are you? Azure Talent might be dead at this point. I don't even know. It's crazy. Or they all were just like, yeah, I've gotten enough of this, which I absolutely would understand. I don't understand why people are listening. But anyway, if you're just joining us, that's got to convince you this is the way to go. We have a hat. It's magical in that it has its own email address, themagicaltalkinghat@gmail.com. And people write that email address, or that was the deal. And whatever they want, questions, comments, topics, stuff. And the hat magically forwards us the emails and compels us to read them and talk about them. And that's the whole show, except these days we're going to have to start researching things to talk about at this point. I don't know. So, how was your week?
It's good. Good week. So like today, all right. So when people finally hear this, it'll be the second Thursday of the Iowa State Fair. But for us, sitting here right now, the Iowa State Fair opened yesterday.
Okay.
As we're sitting here, but
I don't, at this point, I feel like I should see it coming every year, but I always forget. But like, I know now.
Yeah,
like,
but
thanks to you, but
when people are watching this, it will have opened a week ago, and this is the Thursday, the second Thursday of the fair. I'm not sure I'm going to get to go this year because it's pretty much the first weekend is the best weekend for me to be able to go, and it's going to be so freaking hot. And I'm a lot.
Is it now, bad this coming weekend? It is pretty. I mean, it's already pretty gross out there.
Yeah.
Oh crap! We're in a heat advisory right now, I guess.
So, and people who've lived in Iowa and for a long time and gone to the fair for a long time will go, "What are you talking about? It's always hot at the fair," and that's a true statement. It's going to be hotter than it sometimes is, but it's been this hot before. But I just have found that I don't tolerate it like I used to be able to. Like, I can start having some serious, not like heat stroke symptoms, but like things that are like, you better go get into a cool place.
Heat exhaustion. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It happens to me a lot faster than it used to. And so I just have to really think about these things in a way I didn't used to have to think about them before. So we'll see if the forecast improves, or like if it's going to be like lower 80s and overcasts. That's a maybe, because when it's overcast, it doesn't feel as hot.
Now,
But
here where we are in Earth People time, is it this weekend? Like tomorrow?
it started. The fair started yesterday.
All right. Because I just looked at the weather, and
Mhm.
admittedly, I'm looking at Iowa City.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, tomorrow and Sunday look, or yeah, it doesn't. Well, okay, today's shit. Tomorrow's kind of 85, but like Sunday's showing 80.
Oh, that's not too bad. So see, again,
Yeah,
as
I am seeing a lot of rain clouds in there, so I don't know. But
well,
oh, but you didn't say you weren't gonna go. You said you just weren't sure because of the weather.
exactly, I'm not sure.
All right, well, I hope you can. It's I don't get it, but you love it.
No, I know you know how much it means to me to be able to go, but
Yeah.
but also, as a person ages and as certain health concerns start to come up, you do have to be realistic, right? I mean, you can't be throwing
And I
caution
know
to the
far
wind.
too many people who aren't. So it's important. Again, we need to learn lessons from the people who are super old right now, because they do lots of things, and some of them are good or some of them bad. And we need to pay attention so that we will be good old people ourselves.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm seeing right now too, Des Moines 81, and it looks like there might be rain, which that's actually not bad. I don't mind going to the fair when there's rain, because it's cooler then.
And less crowded and all sorts of stuff.
Sure. I don't mind a little rain, doesn't bother me. So far
Fingers
that's
crossed.
pretty good news. We'll see. But if it turns again and it's bad, or if we suspect that the rain will be in the morning and then when it's done, it'll be terrible
Get
right
all
after
humid
that,
and muggy. Yeah.
that'll also be a situation where it's like, nah, we shouldn't go. So we'll see. But I hope we can go. But here's another thing though. So every year when the fair comes along, and again, it's always the first weekend is the best weekend. Sometimes I have gone later, like during the week. I've gone during the second weekend, but that's almost always a problem for one reason or another. But what it means that I usually go on the first weekend of the fair is the Brit Iowa Hobo Convention is always at the same time. So now listen.
Now we got
Okay.
the real truth here. All right.
So now listen. If it happens that we're like, we shouldn't go to the fair. Now, going to Brit is also not, I mean, because there's a hobo museum and it's like air conditioning and stuff. And so there's a lot of things that are air conditioned at Brit. And it's also a small, I've been to Brit. It's not like a huge area or something. If we went there, their temperature might not be a problem. However, it also might be, because some of the events they have are outside, but they might move them inside. I don't know.
Hobos famously don't have air conditioning.
Correct. But
it's a major part of their deal.
I don't have scientific evidence of this, but I think I can say with some certainty that the median age of hobos has gone up. So they might decide, for the sake of the elder statesmen in the crowd, maybe we should move this inside and let them, because there's competitions, right? They compete for the King of the Hobos title, and they tell these stories and everything, and that's usually just done outside on a beautiful summer day. But
so you've been before?
No, but I'm familiar with it. I've done some research, because I don't know if you remember, but in one of my books, I had the Brit hobo thing in the book.
I do, and you've talked about it nonstop.
So I've
known you.
I've been to Brit just to get a lay of the land, and I've done some research. I've never been able to go while it's going on. Like in the years where I could, it was canceled for some reason. And in other years, I had already planned to go to the fair that weekend, because that's a very typical thing. It's kind of like in Van Meter, Iowa. I don't know if we've ever talked about this, but in the early 1900s, they had this, the newspapers reported that in Van Meter, Iowa, this winged creature with glowing red eyes, or maybe a horn with a red light on it, was terrorizing the people of Van Meter. And Van Meter has Yeah, like a Mothman of Van Meter, Iowa. And they have a celebration there every September, Van Meter Visitor Days. But I can't attend that either because it's usually the weekend that is close to my sister's birthday, and I'm usually down on the farm celebrating my sister's birthday. So these are two things that the hobo thing and the Van Meter thing are two things I might go to if I didn't almost always have some other
If only
commitment.
your sister would die and the weather would be bad.
No, don't even say
Then
that.
you'd
Don't
be
even say
perfect.
that. But I'm just saying.
Or you got to get your sister way into Van Meter days.
The Van Meter Visitor, yeah. Well,
yeah. So like
the cool thing about Van Meter Visitor Days or whatever is that all the crypt.
Cool about it.
No, there is too. First of all, it is a really interesting story. If anyone's interested,
it
you
can't be.
No, it is. It is super interesting. You can find information about it online. And
have the people of Van Meter found the money pit? If they haven't, I don't want to hear about it.
But also, all the crypto people go there. So you're going to find Sasquatch people there. You're going to find Mothman people there. You'll probably find some UFO people there. And that's fun. It's fun to go and interact with.
I mean, that clinches it for me. I'm not going ever to Van Meter any time of year.
Ah, come on. Van Meter Visitor. Very interesting. But so if we decide now we're not going to go to the fair. Now, Brit is a long drive and all that stuff too, but it's like if it feels like a less stressful heat-wise thing to do, maybe we'll do it for the first time ever, and we've always wanted to go. But we might just stay on and take it easy on a hot day if it's going to be like that. It's probably like that everywhere.
If you go, there's something you need to do. Okay, you got to do a thing now. 8 fingers.
Okay.
How many letters in hobo?
4.
Yeah. So you can do hobo life. I mean, really, you should get tattoos, but just do it with Sharpie if you're concerned. No, I love that. Everything that has 4 letters, you can do a such and such life. It's great. Everybody can have that on there.
Yeah. I did think while I was thinking about going, I was also thinking about, I wonder how a person competes for the King of the Hobos things, because you tell a story and the best story wins. Well, I can tell a story. I wonder if I could come up with a good story and if they'd let me compete. I don't know, but I don't know how it works. Would you be impressed if I came back and
you were King of the Hobos?
King of the Hobos?
I would not only be impressed. I feel like this might necessitate a fundamental shift both in our relationship and this podcast. Because now I can be like, we've got the 2025 King of the Hobos. Yeah, no, I'd be blown away. I think you're misinformed. I think it is battle royale on a flatbed train car that's moving.
Yeah, I know.
Last one not put under the wheels is the king.
No good. Now listen.
Yeah.
These guys are good storytellers, by the way. It would be stiff competition. Not likely I'd win, because a lot of them are also, not only they're really good at it, but they're like, they've got gravitas, like, they've got beards, they look like they've lived life, it's like they've got this mystique just to their appearance.
Hobo life. That'll get you. That gives you your gravitas right there. And as far as a story, just come up. We see a lot of obscure movies. Just come up with one that you're confident none of them have seen, and then just tell the plot of that.
Well, I don't know. It might be good if it was like
At this point, you could probably do My Dinner with Andre, and nobody would.
I did think of kind of cheating and doing a parody song with Big Rock Candy Mountain and changing some of the lyrics to make them a little more timely but funny. I did think of that. I thought, oh man, that might win them over.
No, but this is hobos. We got to do tall tales, folk tales sort of thing. You have to tell the true life adventures of Willie Wright, extreme jackass billionaire.
Yes, billionaire. Wow. You're right. Oh my gosh.
Wholly original story. Super tall tales. Like, yeah, no, that's Willie Wright is the modern Paul Bunyan. Except instead of clearing the forests away from the plain states, he built a house out of children. Oh, Willie Wright, you extreme jackass.
I'd also have to have a moniker, which I don't have currently. I couldn't
Willie
just
Wright.
no,
Extreme jackass billionaire.
I'm telling this.
Extreme jackass billionaire hobo.
No, come on. It can't be. If I'm telling the story of Willie Wright, I can't. That can't be my moniker. It's got to. I got to have a different one. I don't know what it would be though.
Tony Parsons. It's fine. I don't care. Go ahead. But critical to the process for the gravitas.
Oh, come on.
Hobo life. Hobo life.
A moniker's got to be something like, I don't know. I can't even
Scrawny Claus.
Scrawny Claus. That'd be good.
That's almost certainly your hobo name.
Yeah, well, I mean I'm not really so scrawny anymore, but Scrawny Claus, yeah.
I mean, compared to most Clauses.
Probably still, yeah. You're probably still like if I put on the Santa Claus outfit, I mean, I've got a little bit of a belly now, but not that much.
Or probably... maybe it becomes ironic, like a big guy named Tiny. You know? That kind of deal. I was impressed when you first brought up the idea, but now I think if you don't become king of the hobos, that's on you. Like,
yeah.
It's yours for the taking.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know what the rules are, right? Like, I mean, I've never technically ridden the rails, so to speak. There's a lot of things I don't know. I'd totally be a neophyte to this thing, and then to come in and say, yeah, I can get up on stage and tell a good story and think I can be king of the hobos. I mean, that's a little arrogant, don't you think? I do.
Yeah, but they won't notice. They will absolutely believe your bona fides if you do one thing.
Or just show up in what I usually wear every day, because my brother.
I mean, that would also help. Hobos historically very into Batman.
And A&W, like my shirt today. A&W.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You're king of the root beer hobos for sure.
I do like beans.
King of the root beer hobos.
Beans
right out of the can?
Right out of the can.
I've been thinking about doing more beans. There's the British version of like a bologna sandwich or a PB&J is baked beans on toast.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty good. I've had it. I keep thinking I should make it more often. It's pretty good.
Yeah. So
the problem is nowadays baked beans got a lot of sugar in them, and that's the problem. I'm like, beans, great. Fat, I don't give a shit. But there's a lot of sugar in them.
Yeah, a lot of sugar in baked beans, yeah. Mm. But that's so tasty. I like it. Like especially if it's a mapley or just if they use molasses. Oh my gosh, that's so good.
Trish has a very tricky relationship with sweet and savory, and in particular, she doesn't like sweet meat kind of things. Oh, so like okay. Maple sausage, right out. And I love that kind of shit. So I have to work around it, but it does work well. I get my breakfasts vary a lot, but I would say my most common breakfast these days is I microwave 4 pre-cooked breakfast sausage links. Mm-hmm. And then I wrap 2 each in those high fiber tortillas I have.
Oh, yeah, nice.
And just eat them. And it's good. And it's got plenty of protein and my whole day's worth of fiber and then some. That's great. But because it's just for me, I can get the Vermont maple sausages. And
nice.
But I have to watch. Trish doesn't like any of that stuff. So I have to get it separate.
What else?
I'm like, I got to wrap up so we can talk about. Oh shit, we don't got nothing.
Yeah, I didn't
really one movie.
I didn't really talk about my week, but I don't really have anything else to talk about except the things I just talked about. So yeah, tell me about the movies.
Nothing. You didn't see.
I have. I watched the first half of Wednesday.
Oh yeah.
I did.
You liked it?
Yeah, I did like it. I think it's good. I liked the first season. It's like I told you though. I don't know if it's actually good or if I just like it for a variety of reasons.
I think it's. I mean, the general public seems to think it's good. It's very popular.
Well,
and well received.
I have to admit, I love the aesthetic of it so much that sometimes I feel like I'm just kind of. So when I saw Wicked, it was the same. Like, I mean, Wicked is objectively good. I mean, pretty much everybody loves it, but I feel like I was just really hooking into the design of it almost more than anything else. I just love, sometimes when I'm consuming visual media, I really do feel transported to the place, and I like spending time there. And that, I don't generally feel that about anything I'm watching or reading or anything, but once in a while when I'm watching it, not so much when I'm reading a thing, but when I'm watching a thing, if it's really well designed or if it's a design that resonates with me, I get transported to that place, and it's like, oh, I like being here. Like if
I think
they,
that's quite valid as a reason to like something.
I suppose if they made a theme park that looked like this, I would totally want to go there. I wouldn't even care if I wouldn't even care if I wrote anything. I would just want to walk around in that place.
I could definitely do that.
But for Wednesday it's the same. Like the whole Nevermore Manor and the whole school and all of it's like, I love this. I just love how this looks. I love how it feels.
Yeah, the whole spooky sort of Nightmare Before Christmas aesthetic, I guess, is fun. Like that's the thing. Nowadays, I really like, growing up being goth was like a state of mind, and there were aesthetic choices with it, but it was, about a dark soul and upset. And nowadays it really does seem to be just sort of an aesthetic, and it's a good aesthetic. I like it.
Oh yeah, I do too. I don't know.
And that's essentially what we're talking about, is just sort of the goth vibe, as it
kind of, because really Wicked has that a little bit too. It's like if you go, I hate to say it like this, but this is true. I'm sorry, but it is. If you go into a Hot Topic, they'll have Wicked stuff there. They'll have Wednesday stuff there. They'll have like certain Disney things there, even. Like it's like, and you get it. Like you go, yeah, I get why this is all part of the same sort of piece, right? It's all plugging into the same kind of thing.
It's a bit Venn diagram with emo and goth, but yeah, it's in that vein.
Yeah. Again, I know people probably hate to hear me say that, but I think it's true. Yeah.
I just remembered something I didn't tell you.
Oh, well,
I was gonna tell you when we talked about this topic at breakfast, and then we got distracted and I didn't. So there's a Wendy's near my house.
Yeah.
And it has a little reader board, old fashioned, with like actual plastic letters they put on it.
Okay.
And it's never useful. Like every once in a while it's like, oh, the junior whatever's $2.99 or whatever, but it's frequently, well, I think I've talked about this before. What's the business? Fresh is our recipe, but quality is our, I don't know. I bitched before about some insane thing it said on this podcast.
Yeah.
So they put weird shit up there. And the other day I drove by and I wasn't even noticing, but I was like, did that have the word misfortune on it? But I put it out of my mind, whatever, because I didn't see the whole thing. But then a few days later, Trish came by and she's like, the Wendy's reader sign says, misfortune awaits, aren't you lucky?
What?
The proper reaction. Yes.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Well, I did at the time. Sorry. This is a story, but at the time, I did not know. And the only thing I could think of is, I'm like, is this a promotional time?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. That? Like for a
movie,
it
is Wednesday. It's Wednesday.
Oh, it's Wednesday.
Yeah, they got the Wednesday thing, and they've got a special Wednesday. I think they have some weird sauces for the nuggets, or I don't know. It's a whole thing, but it didn't start yet. I mean, maybe it has by now. But so that was literally their sort of teaser for it, which, at the end of the day, well done, because it definitely got me thinking about Wendy's way more than I would have otherwise.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, it was like, that can't make people want to eat burgers. But no, it's a this thing.
I also like the premise of it, where as Wednesday gets, because in the comics she's a girl. Well, the whole time she's not a teenager. The
comics have no particular dynamism or sense of temporal space.
No, right. And then in the show, in the 60s show, she's a girl. And there's not a lot of dimensionality there compared. The comic doesn't make her a fully fleshed character. The show doesn't really. the first time she gets to be a more of a fully fleshed character is in the movies, really. And this Wednesday is really riffing on that Wednesday for sure.
Yeah.
And I like the idea that when Wednesday gets older, she's kind of a detective. Like, I like that idea. Something about that rings true to me, but also to tie it back to Edgar Allan Poe, who arguably was the first one to write detective fiction, right? He was the first one. He had a French detective, I forget the name of him, before Sherlock.
Eugene de, I think Cook is the last syllable of the last name. I don't know. Sherlock Holmes was a little bit inspired out of him too. Yeah.
Sure. And it's like, I like this. I think this is very clever, and it all unfolds in a fun and clever way. And Jenna Ortega does such a wonderful job with the character. And in this season, Morticia and Gomez hang out a little bit more, are more present, which is fun. And also, Pugsley starts school there, which is fun.
Oh, all
Yeah.
right.
So it's fun to see like the whole Addams family kind of
and
having roles.
they cast impeccably all around.
Yeah, I really.
Christina was an inspired choice first season.
Yeah.
Julie Christie. I mean, Julie Christie can be in absolutely anything, and she's the perfect choice. Like, I love her.
But seeing Catherine Zeta-Jones really be able to play Morticia Addams, not just showing up for a cameo, it's really good. It's really, really good. So
I love Luis Guzman. The Gomez Addams hole in my head, it fits John Astin real well. It fits Raul Julia real well. Luis Guzman doesn't. There's cracks around the edges, and it's me, and I get it, and it's no offense on him, but it does. He's not my Gomez Addams quite.
Well, it's not just you. I feel a little bit the same way. Although, for some reason, I'm gratified that he gets to do more. And
well, I mean, to be fair, the man has more credits than anyone in the world. The man is in every movie.
He's very good, and he's good in this. Don't get me wrong.
Great. I love him. I love him.
Yeah. So it's. I don't know. I do like the property itself. I do like the comic strips. I like the TV show more. I like the movies. Yeah. I still like the TV show more than the movies, but like I just like the property in general. And I've watched the animated things, and they're also fun. And as someone who does like the property itself, I just feel like this is a great addition to it. I think they're doing a great job with it. That's my opinion.
I do love that this show is one of the biggest hits on Netflix. Everybody loves it, critically, commercially. I have not yet heard anyone who didn't like it. And you're like, I really like Wednesday, but maybe that's just me. Like, no, literally everyone on the planet likes that show.
Okay, well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that.
I like it. I mean, I like it. I'm going to watch more of it. I don't know that I love it as much as a lot of people, but I definitely like it, and I'll watch another season and be happy.
And I've watched some other things, but tell me about the movie you saw.
I already told you about the movie I saw.
Oh, well, tell everybody else about the movie you saw. Maybe you'll say something you didn't say behind the pancakes.
Did you
have pancakes today?
No.
I had pancakes.
I usually don't have pancakes.
Oh. So I'm carrying the whole Behind the Pancakes brand.
It's because we used to go to IHOP, which is the International House of Pancakes, and so it was easy to say behind the breakfast foods. Sounds weird. The pancakes are the symbol, you know.
You can say behind the bacon. I mean, you always have bacon, don't you?
Oh, I got eggs Benedict today. It was ham.
Yeah, you did get eggs Benedict.
Also, the hollandaise was broken, which I've never seen anybody serve broken hollandaise. It tasted okay, but it was weird. I was like, "What's going on?"
I've never heard of that either. Anyway, sorry.
I mean, I know it can happen. It's harder to make than you think because it can break. But yeah, it's weird. Also, our server was real. She was a character. Anyway, Trish and I watched an old movie that I liked that she had never seen, but it was her idea to watch it. The 1994 coming of age drama comedy with honors. See, this is the problem. Now you can't act surprised or anything because you already know.
Well, yeah, but
Um,
I wouldn't have remembered what it
I
even
know, but
was.
you're like normally you draw me out a little bit more, and it's
Oh,
a
draw you
conversation.
out.
But now you're just like, go ahead.
Oh, with
I'd like
honors.
to know
Tell
what
me
this-"
more.
Yeah, very well done. Well done. No notes. Um, as I said, with honors is old 1995. I didn't choose to see it. I don't think. Maybe I did. I don't know. I wouldn't have thought I would have. Um, it did have a kick-ass soundtrack. It's possible I got into the soundtrack and then saw the movie because the prime single from it is "I'll Remember" by Madonna, and that was kind of a hit. But it was a pretty kick-ass soundtrack all around. Um, and I bought the CD and listened to it for a real long time. Uh, but the basic thing is Brendan Fraser is a senior at Harvard undergrad. Does Harvard have a grad? I don't know. Undergrad. And he's a government major and he's writing a thesis and he loses it on the computer because it's 90s computers, but he has most of it printed out. So he's going to go make copies in the middle of the night and he accidentally loses it and it ends up in the hands of a homeless man who basically is going to ransom it back to him to survive the winter. And the homeless man is played by Joe Pesci. And then over the movie they bond and learn life lessons, and it is not at all, there are no twists in this movie. It goes, you know what lessons everybody's going to learn
Yeah.
right up front. It is essentially a story about respecting the homeless as human beings like the rest of us, which is a thing that should be taught and is something, as we discussed today, we are unconsciously but very actively all taught not that. We are taught to ignore them. We are taught not to make eye contact. We are taught that they are probably drug addicts and whatever else, and they're just going to spend any money you give them on booze and all of that stuff. Well, bad news, it's been like that forever.
Yeah.
And it was still like that in the 90s. And this movie was trying to do that. But the movie, okay. So I saw the movie. I liked the movie, mostly for the soundtrack. And also, this was the first thing I really saw Brendan Fraser in, I think. And I liked him. The movie is incredibly trite and saccharine and overly simplified and leaves out a lot of factors. And as Trisha said, we don't really delve into race at all. Although there is at one point where somebody refers to the founding fathers as pompous middle-aged white men, and I'm like, hey, they put white in there. Good job. But yeah, that's not really an issue, and it is primarily a comedy, but it's one of those like feel-good comedies that then will make you cry in places and that kind of thing. Very touching story. It's a 90s coming of age story. You've all seen them. We all know them. It's most of them were Robin Williams. This is very much a Fisher King for the college age kids or that kind of vibe. And a little Dead Poet Society in its way. It's, there's a lot of the wisdom from the homeless guy and learning to think on your own and not just take what the world shoves at, all the usual. It is the most generic in the world that way. And I don't think Trish didn't dislike it, but I don't think she particularly liked it because it's very of its time and it's very, but not particularly offensive. When the inevitable romance happens, I would have loved a little more explicit consent, but everybody's happy with what happened. So, I mean, and it was the 90s. We didn't know about consent then, we hadn't figured that one out for some reason.
Sure we did.
So there's that kind of thing. But I was surprised. I was actually a little nervous about watching it because I'm like, it's going to suck. I'm going to hate it.
The Suck Fairy was going to come.
The Suck Fairy was going to get out. It's a 90s coming of age story. There's no way it holds up for me, at least. But it did. in that, I really think credit goes to the acting and the chemistry between the actors.
Huh.
They just are, the banter is good and you believe the relationships, and I don't know, I just, it's a fun time. It's not teaching me anything. Um but it's a
Yeah.
fun time. It's got weird shit. I had forgot that the mean conservative professor who's the advisor for the thesis or whatever is fucking Gore Vidal.
Oh,
Right. And
wow.
it's one of those, like, I didn't register at the time because I didn't know who he was. I now know who he was. And as soon as I saw him in the movie, I'm like, oh, obviously that's him. I know what he looks like. That's him. Uh, I don't know why, but yeah. But the one that really got me that I told you about at the time is, in all movies like this, especially college age movies, there's a character, and that character is frequently tall and slim and wears long coats. He wears small sunglasses all the time. He frequently has long hair, and he is usually wealthy via his family. So he has no sense of like money or anything. And he's real useful in plot situations where you suddenly need money because he has money. And he's a big womanizer. And that's his whole character. And he's usually a best friend of the main characters, or a friend. And he's there. And this is an incredibly generic role. And there's one of those in this movie. And in this movie, it is played by Patrick Dempsey, McDreamy, or maybe McSteamy himself from Grey's Anatomy.
Hmm.
The detective from Scream 3. That guy, Patrick Dempsey. Before he was Patrick Dempsey, I guess. And I absolutely didn't know who he was when I saw it, but this time it's just very clearly him. And it's so wild to see like little him playing this part. And he does a great job. Same thing with Brendan Fraser. It's like, oh, little baby Brendan Fraser. I think what brought this up is that we saw a trailer recently for a movie called Rental Family. Have you seen this trailer?
No.
It's a trailer for a movie that hasn't come out yet. Um, Brendan Fraser is a white dude working in Japan as like an actor, I guess. He seems to mostly do like commercials and stuff, but filling all the white guy roles that they need or whatever. And he ends up getting a job at a company that pays actors to go pretend to be important people in people's lives for sort of therapeutic reasons. So like so and so's dad, like this wife and child, the dad is gone. I don't know if he died or he just left or whatever, and she needs, so they hire him to pretend to be her dad. And there's a different guy where he pretends to be his best friend. There's another one where he pretends to be her boyfriend. And we all know it's fake. I mean, it's fucking Brendan Fraser. But it's sort of therapeutic for them, and it's this sort of business model. And the movie 100% is like, oh, but maybe you'll learn something about you. And it's like, you're going to cry and it's going to be sweet. And it's the kind of movie your parents are going to like. And it's so emotionally going to be emotionally manipulative, and the whole thing. And it's at everything that disgusts me about films. And I'm like, I think I might want to see it. It looks real sweet and nice. And I don't know. It looks good. I kind of want to see it. But so I made Trish watch it for the same reason. So that may have been what put it in her head, because she knew that the movie we had talked about before was Brendan Fraser. So
He's actually a year older than me. So in that film you were talking about, he was playing a younger person than he was. Right? Because if he's a year older than me and he was a senior in college, he would have graduated in 1990, not 1995 or 4 or 5 or whatever it was in the film. I always find it interesting when people play different age than they are, especially when it's younger. It's like, why are you playing a younger? Well, when someone's playing a teenager when they're 21, I get it, but why couldn't they have cast someone who was 22 years old?
yeah, there are often reasons at this point. Even though this was my intro to him, I think he kind of was a something already. At
Oh
this
yeah,
point,
maybe.
I don't think this was his big break per se.
Hmm.
The one we do a lot, Trish and I, is a man and a woman are a couple in a movie, what's the age difference between the actor?
No, I always notice that. I look it up too because I know.
No, that's what we do. Everything at the time we look up, which is we talked about heads of state already.
Yeah.
And in heads of state, Priyanka Chopra Jonas, Mrs. Joe Jonas, I don't know, her first name's Priyanka, is Idris Elba's ex. That becomes a thing. And we were like, that can't be right. Because she seems way younger than him. And I looked him up, and this is how sad the state is now. I looked it up, and I said, it's not that bad. He's only 10 years older than her.
I mean, that
because
is not
that's
that
a pretty small gap in modern.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Over and over.
Sometimes it's the nature of the, like, they're actually playing an older character and a younger character, because that does happen a lot. But sometimes they're cast as the same age, and it's like, no.
I see this over and over and over again. Like, I'll see an actor who I know is my age or close to it, and the movie starts. Maybe I don't know very much about it. I try not to know anything about a movie before I see it, except that just general, like it's a horror or whatever, it's like, so, okay, so this is a genre I'm interested in, or maybe there's a little something I know about it to pique my interest, or maybe I like the actor and I'm watching the movie and it's like, this guy has a 3-year-old child. I mean, he's not the grandpa. He's the father. And I know the woman who's cast in this role, if I look her up, she's young enough to be this person's daughter, but they're going to play this whole movie like they're the same age. I don't know why this is.
Well, I don't either, but soon it won't be weird at all, because life is imitating art, because those same actors are marrying women young enough to be their daughters and having kids at like 78. I believe Willem fucking Dafoe just had a baby like 1 or 2 years ago. Dude is old. And I'm like, great, so your kids, you're going to die of old age when your kid hasn't graduated yet.
So please understand, I don't judge anybody for whatever it is they're doing, and is this to adults or whatever. But I am going to be frank here, fully disclose here. If anything happened to Abby, God forbid, you won't see me dating someone my daughter's age. You just won't. I could never wrap my brain around that.
It can happen. And I'm not going to say those two people shouldn't be together because of the age difference.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
What I will say is, it is very uncommon for that to work, and it is quite common for it to happen for what are unhealthy reasons.
Yes, unfortunately, that's true.
It's the same shit as always. I don't even care that it's in movies if it wasn't 95% of said relationships in movies.
It seems like a lot.
Why is that the norm when in reality it's the exception?
Yeah, it seems like a lot more than actually.
Representationally insane.
Yeah, representationally, it is really strange.
Well, and it goes to the whole gap. There's women in show business, women actors play the ingenue until they play the mom.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a gap in between that doesn't exist. In movies, no women are ever like in their 30s, really.
Mm-hmm.
They're either young, naive, hot, whatever, or they're the matron.
Right. And you mean even if the actress is in her 30s, the character's not.
Women in their 30s do sometimes get acting jobs.
Yeah.
But in general, that's a problem too.
Yeah.
There is a thing where acting as a career becomes harder when you're not the hot young thing, but you're not yet old enough to play their mom. Although sometimes they want you to play their mom. Well, and Amy Schumer show had a great version of this with Julia Louis-Dreyfus of what they called their last fuckable day. And it was a little celebration they were having, a little party for her last fuckable day. It was, I forget, one of the people there. And it's the thing of like, you've now hit the age where Hollywood will never portray you as a character that has sex anymore, unless it's for comedic reasons. And it's like funny. And then the more you think about it, the less funny it is, because it's so goddamn true.
But only for female actors, right? Not for male.
Oh yeah, all of this is which is the whole deal.
Yeah,
guys can be as old as they want, and then we want a hot young woman. We don't care how old the guy is.
So weird. So
I mean,
weird.
it's not weird. It's just straight up sexism and misogyny. But there it is. I'm gonna back up for a second when you were mentioning Wicked. So I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3 again, and I'm really into it now. And I love the hats. There's not a lot of head armor that like matters at this point in the game. There's some, but there are a lot of hats that don't matter at all. But I just like putting them on because they look funny or whatever. And so Astarion walks around with this tri-corner hat that I think makes him look hilarious. But I found essentially a witch's hat, and I've been wearing that. And I don't know exactly what happened, but when I made the character, and you can change this, there's a spot where you can go change the physical appearance of your character at any time in the camp. I don't, but you can. I did something. So in a lot of cutscenes, my character seems to have a greenish tinge to her skin. So she's giving huge Elphaba vibes to the degree that I won't change the skin color. And I'm going to be real stuck when there's something that could go on my head that helps out because I want to get rid of my witch's hat. My witch's hat's pretty cool.
Oh, so like some games will, let you take.
Yes, they will. And I
thing.
don't know why this one won't. I'm kind of annoyed.
It won't. So if you find
there's a
something
lot of games, it's becoming more common where you set what equipment you're wearing, but then you also set what equipment it appears you're wearing.
Well, the way you want it to look.
Yeah, because you found this cool outfit, but then you found something that's way better for you in the game, but it doesn't look as cool. And also consistency. Like we used to have this in MMOs and things with a lot of loot where you look like a Skittle is what they called it. And it's just like every piece doesn't match aesthetically. It works for what the stats of it, but you look like an idiot.
Right.
And this doesn't have that. And so I can look like an idiot sometimes. Some of my people look real weird. And I was actually bummed. I did find some better armor and it looks fine, but it doesn't look as cool as the last set. And I'm like, oh crap.
But this is such a common thing in games today where you can get a more powerful armor. And if you don't like what it looks like, you can change. Now, admittedly, you're usually changing it to look like something you have, right? You're not making it look like a thing you've never acquired. But you've acquired all of it.
Rule. Yeah.
Yeah. So you put on the stuff that gives you the stats you want, and then you can set it to look like something else that's in your inventory. It's a pretty very common thing.
3, not so much.
Huh. That's too bad.
I don't want to complain too much because Baldur's Gate 3 had so much else going on, but
sure.
That is a quality of life thing I would have enjoyed. But
I mean, I know a lot of people who play modern day video games, especially RPG style video games. I mean, I guess especially RPG, because that's part of why you're playing it. It's like, why can't I make my character look however the heck I want?
Well, and in Clair Obscur, that's the only point of it. Like you collect hairstyles and outfits, and they are 100% cosmetic. And there are various places in the game where you can buy them, or like a certain thing, it's a reward for a quest or whatever for different characters. And it has no impact whatsoever. It is purely cosmetic. And I had a lot of fun with that.
Oh, yeah.
Picking out things I like, things that seem thematically appropriate. It's fun.
Sure. RPGers love that.
Yeah.
Well, in Diablo 4, really the Diablo 3 was the same. You could paint things, you could color things. There were sets of things like, well, these will all go together.
You can still color things, I know, because some people have tried to sell me dye, and actually I've gotten some dye, so I can color things. And I'm still in Act 1, out of 3 acts. Maybe it gets later, but I am further than I was before, so I'm enjoying it. Wow, we killed a lot of time with nothing. Let's do our side quest.
Okay. With nothing. I don't know. It was fun. This was a fun conversation, I thought.
Of course it is. I don't know that it's worthy of a podcast, but
yeah,
it's a good time.
Yeah, it's a good time.
That's what we're here for. We're here for a good time, not a marketable time. It's my motto in life. Here for a good time, not a marketable time. Pick a number between 2 and 3.
2.
What'd you say?
I said 2.
All right. 2.
I mean, you said between 2 and 3, but I presume it's inclusive 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So I said 2.
Okay. You didn't say 3.
Did not say 3.
To 2?
2 is what I said.
That's your choice.
That is my choice.
All right. Between 2 and 3, you pick 2.
It is.
This is fun.
Should I call a friend and ask them what I should pick?
I'm trying to see if I can legitimately like put a crack in your own self-image just by questioning this so long. Be like, what's wrong? Of course, I know who I'm talking to. That's the last person to do that, but I at least confused you. That's fun. All right.
That's not hard.
I think this is a new one.
Oh, wow, good.
Although I don't know, I think we might have had this quote before. Well, this is going to get controversial.
Oh boy.
All right. Here's the side question. It's a good one, and we all should do it. Break down a large, overwhelming challenge into smaller tasks.
That's good advice.
This is very useful. A lot of things can feel overwhelming and like, well, what's the first part of it?
Yeah.
Do that part.
Yeah, just do the
and it helps you think that way, because if you like this is one thing, then you don't feel any sense of accomplishment till it's done. But if it's 5 little things, then you accomplish something and you accomplish something else, and that can be good for your sense of accomplishment.
Correct. Yep.
So this is good advice. Everybody should do this. It's a little weird as a quest. So like this week, what if you don't have any big things this week? Like this one presumes a specific type of obstacle within your life that you can overcome this one.
Yeah.
But it's like, what if I don't have any large, overwhelming challenges? Well, whatever. Just break it down. Even the small ones, break them down into minuscule ones. All right. But okay, here we go. This is a quote from Neil Armstrong.
Oh.
It's a very famous quote from Neil Armstrong.
Okay.
It's a mildly inaccurate quote from Neil Armstrong.
Oh, is it?
Do you know what it is now?
I mean, going with the task, it might be his famous one small step for man and one giant step for mankind.
It is that
quote. And I have heard that that's not actually how it goes or something.
It is not. It is almost. Oh, I thought this was like everybody knew this now. All right.
No,
it is not
something like that.
Due to it was a cutout of the communication system. He wasn't like misquoted, but it was what he said didn't there was just enough and it's just the word a. The actual thing he said was one small step for a man. One, which when you think about it, makes a little more logical sense that way. Because man and mankind seem the same, but if it's just like, no, this is a man and this is mankind,
right,
it's a little bit clearer. But I am surprised because the name Neil Armstrong can't ever seem to come up without somebody being like, actually the quote was, like, even in like videos and shit. So I'm a little surprised these guys didn't catch that. But I mean, the technically inaccurate quote is the famous one. So
well,
I suppose.
So for some people, and I knew some of these people, and I'm sorry to admit I was one of these people. The actually was, he should have said a man. That's been said for a long time. It's like grammatically he should have said one small step for a man, but he screwed up.
He didn't.
And now the claim is he actually did say it right.
You owe Neil Armstrong an apology.
I do. Sorry, Neil Armstrong.
Is he still alive? He's probably not. Is
he? No, he passed.
Because Buzz is still kicking.
Well, there's something poetic about that.
That's true. That's true.
Let's see.
There was a great old, I want to say it's an SNL sketch. It's a comedy sketch of some kind where they're in the module and like debating who's going to go out and trying to be like really cool about it. Like, well, yeah, I could do it if you want. Like, who's going to be the first man? And like, it's very passive aggressive kind of stuff. And of course, the third guy, Michael, this is the problem. Nobody remembers his fucking name, who didn't even get out of the module. And so he'd occasionally be like, what if I, and they're like, shut up. So I do like that.
Yeah.
Nowadays, thanks to a little edit I saw one time, every time I think of Buzz Aldrin, I just think about him and Tina Fey yelling at the moon in that episode of 30 Rock.
Oh,
He guest stars on an episode for some reason, and at some the end of some scene, Tina Fey's like, "You want to yell at the moon?" And he's like, "Yeah." And they turn, and she's like, "What are you doing, moon? It's daytime. You're not supposed to be out." And Buzz Aldrin goes, "I walked on your face." And that's all I think of now. Whenever I think of Buzz Aldrin, that and the time he punched that guy who tried to gotcha interview him over the moon landing being fake.
Oh,
I very, very rarely am in favor of people punching people under really any circumstances. And I feel bad about the fact that I kind of feel good about that one.
well,
Because I'm like, and it has nothing to do with my personal belief that the moon landing was real. It just the whole vibe is like, fuck off. Don't be a dick.
it
That's
is
the true side quest for this week, people.
pretty
This
easy.
week, try not to be a dick. This week and every week,
That's
don't
pretty
be a
much,
dick.
yeah, that's everybody. Wait, didn't
Don't be like Willie Wright, the extreme jackass billionaire.
no, there was some famous person who said that for a long time. I want to say Will Wheaton would say that. Like that was his
Yeah,
personal
I think you're
motto.
right. I think you're right.
Yeah. Will Wheaton. But I
It
mean, you
was
can
either
have
him or Chris Hardwick. I don't know. And they were roommates for a while. So
maybe
maybe
both of them.
but
I
yeah.
have no idea.
No, it's a great one. I use it a lot. People like to assert their right to do things.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of things that I will not argue people have the right to do that they do. But if they don't need to do it, it still makes you a dick. Like, here's
Yeah.
the thing: people have the right to misgender anyone they want. They absolutely do. Anybody, regardless of being trans or not. You can miss nobody can force you to use certain pronouns with people. You have the right to do whatever you want with it. It makes you an asshole. Like, why not just call people the things they want? And I understand because I've known children who changed their names several times and I got annoyed. And I would privately with parents and stuff be like, God damn, what is this bullshit? But I called them by what they wanted to be called because I'm not a dick, at least in that specific way. And also, frequently,
It's not in that specific way. Oh
people don't have an argument for that. One of
That's
our
good.
anonymous listeners was in an email thing one time where somebody was debating this exact thing about like having the right to call them this way and they don't have to, and they just, this listener just jumped in with a thing about just not being a dick, and the conversation ended because there's not an argument. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, you absolutely have the right to do that. It makes you look like an asshole. You're being an asshole for no reason. Stop it. A lot of the people who like to go into fast food places with assault rifles because they legally have the right, you do being a dick. Stop it.
Yeah, that it can be very off-putting for sure when that happens.
And there's no reason to do it except to prove that you can. That's the thing. If you're doing it because you rights, if you're doing something solely because you have the right to do it, that's not a good reason to do things. Hell, if you're voting purely because you have the right to vote, that's not a good reason to vote.
Interesting.
Voting is good and there are good reasons to vote, but doing it because the law allows me to, that's not a cause. That's an opportunity. The law makes it so I can. Great. Is there a reason you would? Yes. Then do it.
Hmm.
Mm.
That's all
Williams
very
Tom.
interesting. No, I'm just I'm thinking about what you're saying. It's all very interesting. Because you're right. A lot of people do things just because they can. And we all know just because you can do a thing doesn't mean you should do a thing, right? That's the
Yeah.
whole that's the beginning of wisdom right there, is understanding that, well, should I do it? That's where a wise person asks that question.
As Jeff Goldblum once said, your scientists were so focused on whether or not they could misgender college students, they didn't stop to think if they should misgender college students.
Yeah, that's the beginning of wisdom, is to ask that question. So
and don't get me wrong, there are definite circumstances where exercising your right is important because that right is trying to be taken away from you and you find it a valuable right and you want to show people that. And I think there is some argument of that in some of these cases. People who very passionately feel that their right to purchase weapons and carry them wherever they want should not be infringed upon are doing that as a political statement. And that is a reason. It still makes you look like a dick. So I guess you got to pick if it's worth being a dick. But like the misgendering ones, I'm just like, there's no, I keep going back to that one because that one is nothing. There is absolutely no reason to misgender anyone intentionally except because you can, and it makes you an asshole. It's not even a political statement. What would that political statement be? It can't be the political statement, you shouldn't be able to force me to do that, because again, no one is forcing you to. You have the right not to. And it can't be the political statement, nobody should want different pronouns than what they were born with, because fucking what? That's not a thing. So the only reason is just like, I just want it, whatever, fuck you. That's why. Fuck you. Can't stop me. That's true. But you're a dick.
A lot of that going around, unfortunately.
And like the voting one, I said, if you just voting because you can. Now, if you're like, I need to be very visible because my demographic is in danger of disenfranchisement, that's a reason. And I get that. But that's more a reason of how you vote. If you're voting just because like the law says I can, I don't necessarily want to, I don't necessarily have any interest, I don't necessarily consider it important, but I can, therefore I am. That's not a good reason. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not like mad at people who voted for that. Also, I don't think anybody's ever voted for that. This is a hyperbolic example, but I think it holds true in principle.
So you
can is not a good reason too.
Yeah. So you advocate for people living a life where they're reflective about what they're doing and not just doing it because
yes,
for no particular reason.
And I understand that it is complicated because intention matters, except when it doesn't. And sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be hard because it's a matter of what's on your side versus what's on, like, intention matters from the perspective of you doing something. Intention doesn't matter from the perspective of how other people are receiving it. And there is a balance. In the same way, we can't say no one should ever say anything that offends anyone, because that's essentially an impossibility.
Yeah.
And it's a tremendous limiting. We can also say, maybe don't say things that are offensive to large swaths of people in front of large swaths of people. And it doesn't matter if you were trying to be offensive. And it doesn't mean you don't have the right to. This is the whole cancel culture thing. Like, that's not a law. You don't get canceled as like a punishment. I mean, some people try and play it that way, but no. The concept of cancellation is you did a thing and everybody who liked you was like, you're being a dick, and they stopped liking you. That's just a consequence. That's not, nobody made a law. People just don't like you. And especially in a celebrity situation or a show business or industry thing like that, it's just the consequences of your action. You did a thing and everybody's like, fuck you. I don't want to consume your shit no more.
So how many times in a movie is it a plot where some person who's a two-faced person, like they're one thing in public and they're another thing in private, someone secretly records it and gets it played out to the public to ruin their reputation. There's a lot of times that's a plot in a movie, like
Yes,
for years.
but every single time it's a plot, in order for it to make a full story,
Yeah,
they have to respond terribly.
the public has to.
No, the person who did stuff in private.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because real life shows this. People say dumb shit on Twitter. Famous people say dumb shit on Twitter,
Yeah.
and it can ruin their careers, or it can lead to a long, drawn out, nasty thing. Or very rarely, sadly, they can be like, yeah, that sucked and was really dumb. I shouldn't have said that. That was awful. And it fucking goes away.
Well, yeah. I mean, sometimes I don't know. I
don't
know
even remember what it is anymore. But one time Chris Pratt said something and everybody was up in arms for like a day. And he wrote back and was like, yeah, that was bad. But that's not what people do. People are like, oh, how can you think that of me? I'm not like that. Or
yeah, that's true. That happens
geez,
sometimes.
I can't even say what was that too real for you? All of that. Even if you were, I mean, if you're like, if somebody recorded you secretly and you're like, well, that's what I really believe, and then everybody hates you, yeah, okay. I mean, again, the consequences of your thing.
Yeah.
But if you were like, yeah, that was dumb. I don't know what I was thinking. That was awful. And there's no excuse, but you know, like James Gunn had to go through this and he had to be canceled for a little while because he said shit years ago. And he eventually got uncanceled because he's financially marketable or whatever. But also because 100% of the time after he was exposed for that, all he said was, yeah, I was young and stupid and it's terrible and I don't believe any of that stuff anymore. And he said that the whole time. Meanwhile, Roseanne was like, oh, why are you guys all going against me? Oh my God. I didn't mean it that way. How can you take it that way? I don't have a racist bone in my body. I want that on my tombstone. Anybody who ever says that is the most racist fucking person in the world. Like you can just say, yeah, that was bad. I'm sorry. That sucked. And the public is remarkably willing to forgive you on that. You just got to do that. It's the same thing why I still fucking hate Louis C.K. Dude on his own came forward and admitted to what he did and was sad about it and was like, that was awful. And then was like, I'm going to go away for a while and try and learn and grow. And he went away and then he just came back and was like, are we ready now? And I'm like, no, you haven't done shit. You have come back and seem to be the exact same person you were when you left. So there's not he's not. Well, in fact, at this point, he's going kind of right wing because those are the only people that like him. But it's like, you didn't like. Why are you not talking about it? Why are you not putting in your thing? Man, I was really messed up, right? Like Aziz Ansari. I'm not actually sure he did some shit. It's still was a credible thing, and it was a whole issue. And he talks about it in one of his specials, and he's like, he still maintains he didn't do anything, but he talks very openly about like, this is what happened and this was the reaction and he's like, and it really put things into perspective and I understand why people can feel this way and it made me think about what I do and that's a whole part of one of his comedy specials. And so I'm like, this motherfucker's thinking about it as opposed to all these celebrities that are like, I'm just going to go dark for a while and then come back when everybody's forgotten. And that very much what Louis C.K. seems to be doing.
I mean, I do remember he came back a little bit. I remember that.
Yeah.
But I haven't heard from him since.
And got real. Yeah.
I haven't really heard from him since. So he's still doing stuff, you're saying?
I think he's still touring. I mean, I know I haven't heard anything for a while, but he definitely did some stuff. I don't know.
Huh.
I don't know that he ever could quite come back, but it's I don't know. You get a lot of celebrities are like, oh, these people don't like me anymore. I'm just going to find other people. Russell Brand. Russell Brand. Do you know what Russell Brand does now?
I haven't watched any of his stuff for a while.
Yeah, and you should.
Oh,
He
why?
hawks jewelry that saves you from 5G radiation
Oh,
and equivalent
okay.
because he got exposed for some real fucked up stuff
Oh yeah, he was
and
accused of some things.
completely pivoted it. Thomas Middleditch, same thing. Apparently now he just live streams video games because that's all he has left to do. But yeah, they just switch. I freely believe George Zimmerman was not as nearly as much of a racist fuck as he became, but the racist fucks were the only people who would accept him. So he leaned into that.
Hmm.
I don't know how I got here, but
I don't
weren't
need.
we at Digley
I don't
episode?
need.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Apparently
I don't know.
I got some rage in me. I don't know
Yeah, I
what that's
guess.
about.
I guess so.
All right. So everybody, don't be a dick. Also, make your things you have to do smaller. Teeny things. Listen again next week if you feel like it. Crazy thought. Email us something.
Sure.
Give us something to talk about other than whatever the fuck this was. And also, pay us $1,000 a month to say whatever you want us to say while eating pancakes. Because I'll do that. I will say some racist shit while eating pancakes for $1,000 a month. William won't, but I'm not giving him any of the money anyway. So, but I will. Whatever gross, terrible shit for $1,000 a month, I will say it. I have no integrity. I have no shame. That's what I got William for. He is the little guy on my shoulder who is my integrity and my shame. And I mostly just go bink and knock him off.